People with sensory processing sensitivities may have increased reactivity to both external and internal stimuli like noise, light, pain, and emotions. This can lead to complex challenges, and Tiff Phillips invited highly sensitive person coach Doreen Lang on the Open Here podcast to learn more.
I'm with Miss Doreen Lang. Welcome. Super excited to have you here today.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
So let's start from the beginning. So tell us about your professional background. What led you to become a Reiki practitioner, a business owner, and an author?
Sure. My background is actually in operations, property operations. I've managed Independent Small, which is now Kingston Collection. I was a GM there. I managed senior living communities all over New England, the Brownstones in Boston. So my background has been corporate business operations, capital projects, on the rooftops, that whole deal. That's been my background. But I woke up one morning with a really, I still can't describe it. I want to say it's an awakening, but it was like I felt like someone literally punched me and I was having a heart attack at the same time, just to find out that it wasn't a breakdown, it was like a wake up. And all that kept me calm and got me in the right place was something I had never heard of before called Reiki. So Reiki was so powerful for me to get me in such a better mental place and physical place that I thought, this is crazy. I'm going to change my entire life, my entire career, and I'm going to open up a Reiki studio and help people, just like that. And people said, don't do it. I'm making six figures. The ego's big. I'm all over I'm busy. I'm managing hundreds of people. And I said, no, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm supposed to do. So I opened up a studio in Norwell called Blossom Healing Studio. And the reason I call it Blossom Healing is because when people come out of my Reiki studio after feeling Reiki, they blossom. They glow. They look amazing. And I thought, I've got to name this place Blossom Healing Studio. And that's where I am right now.
You're so brave. That's a really courageous step.
Yeah.
A lot of people are really scared to take that risk and take the financial hit and whatnot. That's incredible. We are going to chat about the book in just a minute, but I wanted to get a little bit about you. In addition to being a writer and a public speaker, you also own your business. You talked about that a little bit. Give us a little bit of an idea about what Reiki is about.
Sure. When I first heard, I thought it's woo-woo. That's what people call things that are crazy, woo-woo. I don't know if I even like that word, but I guess what else can you say? But Reiki is actually just a Japanese form of deep relaxation with healing benefits. And what's so cool about Reiki that changed my life was that, and I didn't know this, I was on a hamster wheel. How much can I do in a day? And then when I'm going to bed, the lists come out. And weekends are just as busy, and I'm getting calls at 2 a.m. to jump on the roof, and it's insane. But what Reiki does is it calms your mind in such a way, in your body, that you're able to, I know this sounds crazy, but almost heal, right? Because you're in such a deep, deep rest that interesting things happen, really interesting things happen. Like you'll come up with a solution to something that you've been thinking about for like years. It'll come into your mind. If you've been really missing your mom or really missing your passed away father, all of a sudden, they'll be right there comforting you. Or you'll be connecting with them in such a way where you feel peaceful when I say, you can not so much wake up, but, when you come back to your awareness. It's what it does is it calms your mind down in such a wonderful way that you're able to access and I call it the slice in the back of your mind that holds all your wisdom, all your intuition, and your dreams and answers, all your answers that we don't even know we have because we're not putting any energy back there. We're human. We think we're human doings instead of human beings, right?
That's incredible. So you wrote a book, Embracing Venus, Achieve a Life Lit Up for Highly Sensitive People. It was released last April. Can you tell us a little bit about the book? What made you want to write that?
Sure. So I wasn't planning on writing a book. I actually wrote 3 books before this. This is my 4th book. And the reason why I say that is because I love to write, but it's just because I find that I'm the type that likes to share information, as you can tell, because I'm happy to be here. But the reason I wrote this book was because when I was giving people Reiki, when I was literally in the room and all people do is take off their shoes, and I say to them, your only job is to relax, whether it's 20 minutes or 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and I do a light touch on the certain chakras of their body where the energy vortexes receive and give off energy, and I would literally feel, I almost could feel their energy and feel their stress and feel their pain, and I would get these visions, and it was bizarre. So when they came out of my Reiki room, I would share, may I share what I saw? And they'd be like, okay. And in one situation, there's an older woman that came in, and may I tell it briefly?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so this older woman came in, and she was very sad because her boyfriend She's 77, and her boyfriend had just passed away. And they never married, and she was alone in the house. And she said, I really want to come into Reiki because I'm just so emotionally wrong. I just need to get balanced out. And I said, sure. So she came in, I gave her Reiki. During Reiki, I saw her walking into her, from her dining room to her living room with a teacup. But she was kind of jittering it. And I looked down below and I saw this white cat, the tail circling her leg. And I thought, oh, that's sweet. She has a cat to comfort her. And I didn't think anything more of it. So when she came out of the Reiki room and she says, I feel so good, Doreen, I feel so relaxed. Wow, that was so nice. And I said, may I share what I saw? And most everyone says yes. And I told her, I said, I saw your cat. And I told her about the white cat. And she said, I don't have a cat. And I said, oh, okay, well, I don't know why I saw the cat. And she said, but I've been really lonesome. And I've been shopping for a cat. And I picked out a cat and I'm picking it up today. And it's a white adult cat. And I said, why an adult cat? Because I saw a big cat. Why not a kitten? Because, you want to nurture it. And she said, when you're over like 60, they don't let you buy a new kitten because the cat will outlive you. And I thought, oh. And she said, oh my. And she was all excited that she was going to be that happy in her house. And I saw that cat with her. So again, the Reiki, even though she's relaxing, I'm getting from her. It's just fascinating what people I know again, woo-woo, but there's this energy that you give off. It's intuition. It's whatever you want to call it. I'm still figuring it out. But the reason I wrote the book, to answer you, I'm sorry, long story, is because when I came out of the Reiki sessions, when people left, after I shared a little bit and was honest with them, I just wrote and wrote and wrote because I found it fascinating. And one story turned into another story, all truths. And I thought, people have to read this. This is just too cool.
That's amazing. How long did it take you to write the book if it just wrote itself, basically?
Just about a year.
Wow,
About a year.
Impressive.
It's about a year. But in the meantime, I found out because of my issues and why I did this is because 50 to 20% of the population are called highly sensitives. But the extreme of that is an empath. And the difference is highly sensitive people, it's a sensitivity to sounds and smells and the world around you and energy and there's a lot to that. But the empath, the difference is that an empath is a person. Again, I know, woo-woo, I keep saying it, but it's true. It's a person who takes on the energy of somebody else.
Huh.
And that's how I knew when I got sick. That's how I knew why I started looking into this originally, was when I had that catastrophe where I thought I was having a heart attack and all that. I was still working like insane, but I had a family member living with us for about 9 months, and he was very depressed. And I was sitting with him every morning and you'll find a job today and I'll make a nice dinner tonight. And I was taking on the energies to a point where it became me. I took it on. It was me. I was feeling his pain. And that's what caused me to almost have a breakdown.
Wow.
So there's people out there and people might say, oh, Doreen, you're just nice. You're just kind. And I said, yeah, I am nice. And I am really kind. But not everyone takes on the energy of other people.
Right.
This is the extreme. This is what an empath does. And this is what I help people with in my studio.
So what are some other traits of highly sensitive people?
Sure. I mean, I'll call, Tinker's son in Norwell.
Mm-hmm.
I'll call there to go to lunch or something, but I call first, not to make a reservation. Because if it's too noisy, I'm not going. I cannot relax. I can't eat. It's just stimulation is the stick that could break the back of a highly sensitive person. It's overstimulation. So it's, if you go to a concert, you're going to find highly sensitive people. Even if they have the front row seats, you're going to see them in the back, probably with earplugs in, because it's just too much. Bright lights, crowds, even family gatherings, even though with all that crazy that goes on with every single family, sometimes more than 2 or 3 people is just overwhelming.
Right.
So it's a real challenge, but the beautiful part is these people, because they're so sensitive, their intuition is deep. Yeah. And they're have incredible ways of intuiting, loving, caring, seeing the big picture, really interesting traits that really balance I even have a 9-year-old boy coming to see me as a highly sensitive child.
Wow.
Who comes in for Reiki because he's just so overstimulated, and I'm giving him tools to kind of find a way to manage it. It's like anything else, right? It's managing.
Right. Do highly sensitive people tend to take on the role of trying to make other people more empathetic, more sensitive? Is that their job? I mean,
that's really interesting. I don't think that's their job, but I could be wrong. I'm just being me. But I do believe that when I am working with someone in my program, And I'm helping them to see their empathy and their deep empathy and their sensitivity and get clarity around it. When they leave me and they feel good about that, they feel good about themselves, this is how I see it. I believe they're touching the next person, whether it's the gas station person, whether it's the clerk, whether it's their husband, whether it's their daughter, whatever it is. That kindness translates, and I think that translates to that person to warm them, and I believe then that touches the next person, and that touches the collective.
Right.
That's how I really see it. I don't think it's our job, but I think it's our natural ability to just want to comfort, want to be present.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you hope people take away from the book?
Yeah, I think clarity. I think there's so many people, I think even CEOs. I mean, I had I'm very proud of it. I worked really hard. I got my bachelor's, my master's, I went to my PhD, blah, blah, blah. I worked really hard doing that while I was working full time, 2 kids, the whole thing. And I was really, really successful, but I kept putting all my energy into caring for and coaching all my staff, my maintenance, roving maintenance, all of them, caring, coaching. And I thought there was something wrong with me because I loved that. So people read this book, I think hopefully they're going to say, first of all, it's really fascinating. People say they can't put it down because the stories are so cool, which is neat, but mostly because they can learn that as a highly sensitive person, it's a wonderful place to be if you understand it. So I'm hoping, honestly, it's educating and clarity.
Yeah. Do you feel like this is your life's mission to kind of guide people on their journey to happiness and like inner peace?
Yeah, I 100% do, because even with my I call it my big jobs. When I was little, my mother used to say, she has a big job, he has a big job. So it's in my head, big job. I had a big job. But even though I did, my goal and why I kept teams together was because my work is to help people see and be authentic. That's the Embracing Venus. I picked this book, this cover. I worked really hard to get this cover for this book because it's a person, a woman, happens to be a woman and a woman's figure that comes in from the ocean, as like a virgin embracing Venus as a person who's just as she is, just as you are. And that is, you're perfect just as you are.
Yeah.
But as a highly sensitive person, you don't feel that way because you really struggle.
I get that.
Yeah.
In what ways has Reiki and your work really fulfilled you as a person?
I really, again, this might sound silly, but it is about service. I mean, even what you're doing for me now, giving me the opportunity to talk, you're helping me. So you're helping me help people. And that's really what it's all about. That's, at the end of the day, that's when you feel good. I mean, it's great to have money in the bank to pay the bills and then extra. That's all important and critical. But the part that touches your soul, that's the work that you want to do.
Yeah, you're doing some incredible work. Thank you so much for being here today.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Learn more about Doreen at blossomhealingstudio.com.
Hey friend, thanks for stopping by. If you like this video by The Local Scene, share the love and give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe.